whenever I have multiple artists in here, I always mess this up, and then I get emails from listeners. So I'd like to do is just get a voice ID and just say your name and what you do, because there are a lot of people that maybe have only heard of you guys, but they don't know who you are or what you do. So if you don't mind, that'll be the one formula thing we're going to do. All right? So why don't we just start left to right? Well, in my left to right, so go ahead.
This is Robert. I'm the drummer. Stage 8.
This is Max. I'm a bass player.
This is Craig, and I serenade the people,
The ladies, if you will.
the ladies, if you will.
This is Monte, and I rip the guitar. Yep.
You rip it.
So, I know Craig. You're from Phoenix. You're from Arizona.
Yeah.
Scottsdale, and right from Scottsdale, not
Yeah,
around.
like North Phoenix, Scottsdale area.
Okay. So for you Vegas guys, there's been a lot of talk that Vegas is not like it used to be. They say that about Times Square too. It's not like it used to be. Agree? Disagree?
Agree.
What changed about it? Did it just become like tourist hell?
Um,
Corruption.
I don't know.
Well, that's new. Okay. Kind of goes with tourist hell. You kind of need corruption to become tourist hell, right? Yeah.
I was too young to know what it was before, so I don't really know.
You don't know?
I don't know what changed.
Can you pull up a little bit or pull the mic just a little bit more so in that way? Whatever's easiest for you, that'd be awesome. All right, cool.
There we go.
So where is there to hang out in Vegas? So like, what's cool anymore to hang out in Vegas? Like if you somebody's going there and they get away from their parents for a couple hours, where would you recommend they go hang out?
Wasted space.
well, if you're not 21, there's really not a whole lot of places you can go. Usually just your friend's house to go party or whatever. But the good thing about Vegas is that parties never stop because they sell everything 24 hours a day, so that's good. But if you're over 21, definitely the Palms or the Hard Rock.
Wasted space, dude.
Yeah. Wasted Space of the Hard Rock. It's a cool place.
What's the Wasted Space?
It's a club at the Hard Rock.
It's
Carrie
within
Hart
it.
owns it. Carrie Hart owns it, and
Okay.
guys from Good Charlotte also kind of co-own it. And
Yeah, they treat
just
us
a-
really well every
yeah.
time we're there, so we love going
it's a rock bar, and there's just like people go in and they jam and stuff. It's really cool. It's a lot of fun.
Does this band actually own Vegas? Are you guys like VIPs in Vegas?
Dude. Yeah, buddy.
Robert goes,
You're pointing to Robert. What's this about?
Robert goes out every night.
Robert's place is the Hard Rock. My place is the Palms,
Yeah,
man.
dude. At least we own those section of Vegas.
Yeah, the small parts.
So you guys basically didn't have to pay anything there, no? No?
it's
Oh,
the
yeah, no
beauty
wonder you
of
still
it.
live there. No, you guys ever move anywhere else, you're going to be spoiled. You'd be like, what the hell?
It's kind of, no, that happened actually on this tour that we're on right now. With we were in New Orleans, and people came up to Max, right, and they're telling, "Hey, man, you want some free shots?"
Oh my God, yeah. There was
Yeah,
Mardi Gras
so-
going on in New Orleans.
So
Listen to this.
Normally, I go to Vegas or else go to the club, and like every time I set my drink down, someone fills it back up for me. Every time I go to put a ciggy in my mouth, someone lights it. I'm like, oh sweet, another drink, thanks. Da, 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 whatever. I go to New Orleans, and I walk in the bar because I hear this band like covering some rad songs, or I'm like, oh, right on, yeah. And I've had a few drinks, so I'm feeling good. This woman comes up to me, and with these shots, with this thing of shots, and she goes and like she puts one up to my mouth and pours it in my mouth, and then puts two in her mouth, and
Well,
then
it's nice
kisses
she
me.
did it for you.
Oh yeah,
and you get a
then,
kiss.
and then puts them in my mouth.
Awesome.
And then probably does that like 7 or 8 times, and then afterwards goes, "That'll be $40." And I go, "What? What do you mean that'll be $40?"
You shoved it down my throat.
Yeah, I was like, you literally shoved it down my throat. But the thing was, I didn't go up to the bar. I didn't ask her for anything. They never checked my ID. To anyone else, I look like I'm 18 years old. So, you know what I mean. But the security guard and the police officers that I took me to, they were gonna arrest me, and they're like, "Do you get drinks for free?" And I was like, "Actually, yeah, I do." I thought it was just like I thought I just got lucky in New Orleans another night. I don't know, but
I didn't get lucky last night.
You know, what happened?
Well, when we were somewhere else, we went to a strip club, me and Robert yesterday, just bored. I'm the only one who didn't get it. My little brother got in before me.
That was a wild night for us, though.
The pains of being young, right? Or looking young, which is even worse. So do you got, like, sometimes you see this, like, where you're the kings of, like, your environment, like, wherever you are. So, like, you're like, oh, yeah, I can walk it anywhere. Everybody knows me. I can get this, I can get that, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden you get to a place on this planet where nobody knows you and they don't give a damn. So they're like, so how do you, like, not end up in that point where you're like, do you know who I am, dude?
I don't know. I enjoy the places where there's no one who knows who the hell I am.
Really?
At all.
You're already at that point.
Yeah, I enjoy being there.
Well,
it's because
unless I already spent all my money.
Yeah,
if I don't have any more money left.
If I'm broke, I would enjoy if there's someone there that knows who I am to take me out. But I do enjoy it because me being from Phoenix, I'm sure these guys get it in Vegas too. I mean, I've even started getting in Vegas when I go out there to visit.
Because you moved there. Didn't you move there now? Or are you still down in Phoenix?
I don't know. I'm like Phoenix for a week, Vegas for a week, Hollywood for a week. I'm just like back and forth through all three places now. But Phoenix, when my daughter was first born, I used to go to the mall and like kids would just bump in front of me in the stroller as I'm pushing it. And then put their backs to my girlfriend and my daughter and just be like, can you sign this? Can you sign this? So, I mean,
really clever.
That got pretty rough. So I don't even go out anywhere in Phoenix pretty much anymore if it's during the day, like a mall or anything, because it got too hectic.
That is something of a struggle, I would think, for you guys, and or maybe it isn't. Maybe you guys tell me, like, where there are very few bands, and I know that you guys have gone through this and have kind of talked about this, had to have talked about it, where, especially if you're playing on Warped Tour or being anything within the quote-unquote scene area, and outside of, like, just being a rock band, because there's a difference between being called a rock band and then being called a Warped Tour band. And the Warped Tour crowd is all about legitimacy and keeping it real. And you guys you're more a rock band. I mean, you're coming in here and you've got the, Max, you've got the police badges on your jacket,
Those are
on your
real,
leather
though.
jacket.
He's an officer and he's like a bounty hunter, like the dog, dude. He's got it all.
Hey, you need a reality show.
Those are real.
Dude, I've been saying that to my manager for like 2 years now, dude.
But I mean, seriously, like, it's like you guys are presenting a different outside image to the fans and to the world and to the media that is very different than what would be considered part of that Warped Tour crowd. So, do you find that becomes a conflict more often than not? Do you even give a crap?
It's kind of like it's like I see what you're saying or whatever else. Like I noticed that as well. Like it's kind of like I don't care. Like this is what I like. This is what we like or whatever else. And like that's what kind of helps maybe set us apart from like a lot of the other bands that are like say like in the scene bands or this or that or whatever. I don't know what the hell he's doing right now.
I think. Wait, let me wait.
20 likes.
Yeah, I know.
Almost 20 likes.
Well, I never drink coffee, so I'm like, yeah.
I know what you mean, though. I know what you mean, though. Like we definitely try to set ourselves apart a little bit, and it's something that's at this point, it's like not really trying. We're aware, but it's just what we like, and we always challenge each other. And like, like when we're in New York, we find the coolest store and we just try to, hold on, what the fuck are you doing?
Just trying to get like the craziest like clothes. Like, oh, dude, we need to step it up a notch, dude. Like, just that.
But that's
no,
like,
it's just about the band wanting to be more than just a band. You know what I mean? Like me personally, I've definitely gotten into that mindset because I'm just used to wearing a t-shirt and a pair of jeans and just going up there and rocking. But it's definitely a different story when you go out there and you want to put on a show, and we just keep on thinking of different ideas, different things we can do on stage, different ways to dress or something, and just make it more of like a production, more of like a concert or show. Like we can get ready and feel like we are on stage acting, putting on a show, and we're different characters on the stage than we are in real life. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what we want to get to.
That's good.
Like,
That's a really good point.
You know what I mean? Like,
you know what's crazy though? Like,
hey, at least he isn't saying, you know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, like, he was saying like how he goes to like a mall or something. Kids recognize him. What's cool with me is I have these glasses I'm even wearing right now in the studio where no one can see me. I'm still wearing them, but when I go out in public, I can take them off, and kids sometimes think it might be me, but it might not. So I kind of have that identity, and that's what we have on stage, and we can just live it up and be who we are, and kids will recognize us as soon as they see us, as opposed to that could just be their friend, that they know.
I was kind of disappointed, Robert, because everybody that I had spoken to over the past year said that I was waiting for the fur coat, and you came in here without the fur coat on.
Son of a bitch.
That fur coat is
What happened to it?
That's my freaking fur coat. Yeah.
First of all, that's not Max's fur coat.
We have an ownership
He
issue.
said he could wear it on tour till he gets a new winter jacket, and he's getting all that
It happens to everybody. You gave him your
Bumming me
leopard
out.
coat. Now everybody sees Robert with his leopard coat.
Yeah.
I gave you my zebra pants.
What's up, dude?
And everybody
What's
sees
up,
you with the
dude?
zebra
Yeah.
pants. It happens to everybody.
That fur coat, though, the reason I'm not wearing it right now is because usually I wear it going on stage and off stage, especially right now. It's winter, and we'll be going outside, and it's
Yeah, it's
cold.
like 60 degrees outside today, too.
And so when I come off stage, it's fucking sweaty, and I haven't gotten a chance to
you need to
wear it.
clean that
So it
thing, man.
smells atrocious right now.
The dry cleaner bill's got to be horrible on that thing.
It's fucking.
I'm not gonna lie, it's a cheap
tomorrow
jacket.
got it.
Well,
I'm not gonna lie.
it's Max's jacket, so I'll let him worry about that. No, but it's yeah. I wish I had that right now. I'm cold. But what happened was that was my jacket that my friend gave to me, and I was too big for it at the time, and I gave it to Max on the basis that one day I might lose weight and be able to fit in it, and a couple years later I did, and all of a sudden he thinks it's his.
That entire story is questionable and debatable.
No, it's not. That's the end all be all. That's the explanation right there.
It's something to think about, though, and I don't know if you guys have actually discussed this or not, or maybe your manager has, or anybody at Epitaph Records, your label, has or not. But there's that point where you guys are wanting to be yourselves, and it was really interesting, Craig, that you said about look, we're here. You're basically saying we're here to perform on stage. We're not out there just to hang out.
Yeah.
This isn't band rehearsal. We have to bring a show, and whether you like their music or not, Family Force 5 think the same way you do.
Yeah.
They're like, we got to entertain, man.
Dude, I loved them on Warped
people
Tour.
are
They put
paying
on such a
$18,
good
$19,
show.
$20 plus to see
I used
us.
to go on stage and sing, do a song
Really?
with them. Yeah.
So it's like perform, do something,
Yeah.
look, dress, do the, people want to aspire, they want to fantasize. I want to be like that person,
Yeah.
We always said that if kids are gonna come see your band play or wherever else, like they're gonna pay to be entertained. If they want to listen to your music, they're gonna steal it. That's like the difference. That's like, so it's like you better put on a good show because they paid for that ticket. You want to get them to come back.
Well, that's where you make your money these days in music. Not selling the music, you actually sell the show now. So
Yeah.
that's
Really
kind of
good
what you
point.
got to do.
Really good point.
So you got to sell tickets to make.
So
your
then,
money.
how do you provide legitimacy to that? Because where cynical people, whether it's fans, cynical people that run message boards of note, people that are in the media, people that are older, guys and gals have been around for a while, they'll sit there and go, they'll look at a band that has an image, has a style, they're relatively new, and they'll sit there and they'll think like, all right, these guys, gals are acting like rock stars before they're actually rock stars. So the image is created before the reputation, and sometimes it causes critics and the doubtfuls out there to kind of question that artist's sincerity and authenticity.
Yeah.
And they're saying they're just acting this way in order to be. And so are they really like that, or is this an act?
I think that happens to every artist, though. And then those same critics that say this guy has such a rock and roll attitude, I don't think is going to go anywhere. When that artist is selling multi-platinum records and they're playing arenas, they're the same people that are like, yeah, I saw them when they were nothing, and they were pretty good. I was there. I was at that show.
I think that it kind of happens to every band, a little bit, especially when they're coming out. But the difference is like you can tell with some bands but it's all about like just watching them. Like,
right.
they're living it, they're doing it, or whatever else. You know what I'm saying? Like
what were we watching last night? We were watching Marilyn Manson's Guns, God, and Government World Tour DVD.
Okay, yeah.
And going back to that, I mean, you got to imagine how many people looked at him.
Good example.
And said he has too much of an attitude. Like back when he was Marilyn Manson and the Spooky Kids.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how many people saw that and was like, look at this douchebag.
And there
he's not
were.
gonna go anywhere.
Craig, you're entirely right.
Yeah,
there were
now he's-
tons of critics back then saying, "Look at this
Everyone.
act."
There's nobody that would talk bad about Manson now because he's his own entity.
he's
now,
God.
you know what I mean?
He's gnarly.
Right.
He is a good artist though, but
Yeah.
you know,
So-
that's just an example of like how critics probably were all over his jock, you know, back in the day, and he just stuck with it. And at the end of the day, he's doing what he loves to do, and he's making music for people that want to hear it. And I think everybody just kind of got over the fact that, you know what, he's just an artist doing what he loves. Mm-hmm. I got to respect that.
I think
Yeah,
I think
that
at the
level.
end of the day, you got to do what feels right to you and not give a fuck, you know, because it's like if that's the way you want to present yourself, if you want to be a fucking arrogant asshole, then that's your thing. Or fucking run with it, and maybe it'll work. But like if you want to put on a show and cause controversy, like he said, like Manson did, then you know what, that's what he likes to do. He like look at his song titles of some, you know,
Right.
and like that's what he likes
videos.
to do. Yeah, he likes to cause controversy, and that's what made him famous, and that's what he ran with, you know, and that's been that way since the beginning with us. Like there's nothing fake about what we're doing. This is who we are, but it's like at the same time, it just when you put it on a stage, it becomes really interesting, you know.
Yeah.
So
It's interesting though because with the records that and of course it's a difference. I mean, obvious difference with the different lead singer at the time. But the records that you did with Basketti, how do you pronounce his last name?
Basket.
Basket is Basket, so it's friend. But the two records with that were obviously more of kind of like that Motley Crue kind of Van Halen era kind of thing. And then the new one with Feldman is obviously, especially when you got Harder Than You Know on there, the ballad, which, I mean, I've listened to the record, I'm like, wow, it's really good. And all of a sudden it hit the second to last song, right? And then I was like, whoa, this is different. Didn't expect this. But then I went Feldman, of course. And that's how John is. He just, you know, he believes in you know, Basket. He's worked with Incubus and Limp Bizkit and you know, and he's definitely got a rock and roll kind of mentality to him. And Feldman, it's about the hit.
Yeah.
He's about presenting an overall package that is sellable to a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know, from radio to you know, the teenage girl in high school that's going through heartbreak or whatever, or the guy. And so how with that kind of an image, like it's obviously even the videos, they're more tamed down, the more so like, but you're trying to still be. You're kind of talking like, well, we're going to be, you know, what we want to be, and that would still kind of point towards how you guys were prior to, Craig, your position in the band. I mean, is there kind of like a difference now where you're also trying to change? You're kind of sensing like, okay, maybe we got to scale back a little bit the way that that show on stage. You know, we don't have to like be too over the top anymore. We can pull it back because if you watch YouTube videos of the earlier shows, when Ronnie was in there, it was definitely like that was, you know, it was Van Halen's opening act.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't know. As far as the music,
I was gonna say the other night, Craig jumped off a balcony and showed this dude his ass. So I think
that's
it's still
good.
pretty fucking rad. Personally,
I think we're more.
I don't think we.
I don't think you turned into Simon and Garfunkel. I'm not
the
saying
shows
that.
are definitely way more up there. I personally hate both our music videos that we have out right now. Just,
Really? The two new ones?
Just for personal reasons, because we filmed both of them in one day, and I had a broken ankle, so I was in a cast.
Big old cast.
And like, there's a lot of like my old fans that are like, "Man, I'm used to seeing you run around and hang from shit and jump up and down, and you're just like standing there in the video." I'm like, "Oh fuck!"
Yeah.
Like I couldn't move
Texting.
at all. Yeah, and
Yeah,
I'm just
texting,
like,
yeah.
"Great, 2 videos of me in a
It was
cast."
something. That's what he's doing. He's texting it. Right?
So I'm just like, "Oh, this sucks." So I want to film the next one super ASAP, dude.
It's going to be an all jogging video, right?
Yeah, that's what I told the director. I was like, next video, I'm going to be running laps. That's the video, just me running laps.
Jumping on a trampoline.
Yeah,
or something.
being proud that I have my foot back. But as far as the music and the record goes, I'm super proud of what we did with the record because it's so different to the point where even old fans and critics will be like, "Oh man, this new record sucks. It's so poppy. You don't even have any good songs." Well, I mean. Well, I like The Flood and This War Is Ours and You Are So Beautiful, but the rest of it sucks. It's like, all right, so you like half the record, right? Thanks, man. And then the other half of the record, other people like, and they're like, I don't know, that song's a little too hard for me. Or that song's a little too poppy for me. But it's all Escape the Fate, which is the good thing.
When our EP came out, like we had a lot of our harder songs on there. And then when our full length came out, we had a lot of the songs that were just like, if you listen to it, it's like a lot of just 4 chord progressions, a lot of palm muting, a lot of simple standard pop punk type stuff, with some darker chords and things underneath it or whatever. And then this album,
People
it's like
were complaining about that transition.
It's like
and we wrote the songs at the same time, the EP and the album.
Yeah, that's everything. We wrote both of this like before, like we wrote all that stuff like when we were just coming up or whatever, a local band, and then a couple when we got signed, and then like the new album, like I think the new album is definitely more like has like a like just it's like a bigger thing. Like we just wanted to like all right, because we're not a metal band, we're not a hardcore band, we're not a pop band. Like, we are Escape the Fate band. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we are almost like you could almost call us pop metal or pop rock, because we do a little bit of everything. And we just want to make it do everything we did before, just bigger and better. You know what I'm saying?
I don't really care anymore because any criticism is good criticism. So
I just keep talking, bitch.
I just let the people talk. You know what I mean? Because that's another thing, like the whole screamy thing. Like, oh man, Escape the Fate doesn't scream that much anymore. And then I actually sat back, listened to the old record and the new record, and there's 3 songs on the old record that have screaming in it.
Yeah, and listen to this.
And there's like 4 or 5 songs on this record, and I'm like, wait, there's more screaming in this record. What the hell are you talking about?
Even this album, we still do it like we did on the last one. We had like Save Friends and Alibis and Guillotine, and then this one, Guillotine 2, which still starts up shredding, and then Harder Than You Know, which is still 2 songs. We like doing just whatever we do.
Yeah.
But wasn't one of the first videos for Escape the Fate that Epitaph put out was it a live video? It was one of the ones I saw off of the first ones that had a tremendous amounts of hits on YouTube. Was
that There's No Sympathy live?
Yeah, it may have been off of that. Yeah. And I mean, it wasn't live. I mean, it was obviously the song, and it was overdubbed a live performance. But it had screaming in it. And so if that is what is perceived, if that is what is seen, then that is first impression. So the fans, the media, everybody are going to see that and go, Screamo band.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what the rest of the record sounds. If that's what they see, you're a Screamo band, especially, for critics that need to categorize everything.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Everyone always gets called something like, no, we don't want to be called that. Listen to the other song. Like, it's just how it always is with every band.
Yeah.
I noticed.
So before I forget about this, let's talk about the live show that you guys do and about presenting. You presenting a show as you said so well, Robert. What do you guys find are the rules of engagement for a band on the stage that are usually overlooked? You see other bands open up for you now. You guys are selling out this tour. You're doing great. This new record's already, you're like over 52,000 units, and it's only been a couple months with a really crappy economy. Yeah. So that's really good. So what are the rules of engagement for performance to like really bring it?
I think to really bring it, you have to have no rules.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
up.
Just
especially nowadays.
No rules of anything.
Yeah.
You just need to go up there and not give a shit about anything or anybody. Me personally, when I go up there, in between songs, I can't think of anything else to do, especially for this tour, since this is our first headlining tour. I just thank the crowd like every other song. I'm just like, once again, thank you so much for being here. Because, we're just all so grateful to still have the opportunity to be up on the stage. Yeah. Robert will be back to start the fucking song. Come on. Quit talking. But, it's pretty funny. I mean, me and Max always try to get the crowd into it, and we'll do little things on stage, and I'll punch Brian in the ball sometimes. I don't know. It's just
that brings a show.
Yeah. I mean, some venues have so many rules, you know what I mean, that I just try to overlook that. I mean, my thing is I like to climb on shit and jump off from a spot where people would not expect me to be able to get to.
You almost reached your record last night or whatever.
Yeah.
That was pretty high.
That was pretty high last night.
Dude, I saw that. I didn't even know how.
Yeah, it was pretty nice.
And then you'll be doing your next video with a leg cast on again. So.
Well, I mean, the thing is, with bands that want to have a good live show, it's like, it kind of sucks because you have to wait until you get, like, the funding to get all the things you want. Like, if it was up to us, like, we'd have pyrotechnics, fucking laser shows. Brown would be flying over the crowd like Garth Brooks every night doing his solos. Like, it'd be totally rad.
That'd be great.
Yeah,
that'd be really great.
Here's like to me what I find interesting and unique about our shows is, we argue a lot at times because certain band members may have a little bit too many substances before they go on stage.
No.
And you know what? Then
You mean
the thing
Little
is,
Debbie's, right? That's what you mean.
yeah.
Wait, when
But
you say substance, let's just say drinks. I don't want to get any confused shit going on here, right? Drinks.
All right. Okay, drinks, Jaeger, if you will, or whiskey. But
Ooh, yeah.
the thing about that though is, you know what? For a fan, maybe at the time, like they see what might look like a like, what is this guy doing? He's fucking obviously out of his mind. But you know what? And it's frustrating when you're back there trying to stay on time and all this stuff's going on. But then, you know, you look at it later and you're like, that's fucking crazy. Like, how do we do that? And to a fan, it's like, dude, I just saw that guy just fucking wasted just now. And, you know, it makes people talk and it makes each show unique. 'Cause then there's those shows where we go up there and we're all on point and everyone just sounds great, looks great. The crowd is just, you know, eating everything up. And then you have that special show. And so every show that we do is unique and there's always something exciting and new. And like when I go on stage every night, I don't know what the fuck to expect. And that's the best part of what we do.
I love that.
Unexpected.
Whatever the venue tells you not to do yeah, do it.
So without dissing
Push
other
the
bands,
limits.
because it's not a really cool thing to be doing that anyway. I mean, it's something to do on the back on the bus. But what are some things that you see a lot of bands that you know, you guys have come very, very quickly and you've been through a lot, not only as a band but individually. So what are some things that you see other bands performing that you go, you wish bands would stop doing?
I don't watch any bands really.
Like if you were being a band manager, what would you say to other bands? Like, don't do that anymore. This is tired. It's done. It's
My thing, I just wish bands would just stop doing it, but I'm okay with it because it makes us look better. Stop having fucking short jean, fucking cut off shorts and fucking beards. It's stupid. It's fucking dumb. But it makes us
Southern, bro.
But it makes us look
I
all
like
right.
that.
It's the one thing I don't like about Warped Tour.
See, it's hard. It's hard for me to personally answer that question because I like everything. I find something about everything that I like, for some reason. The one thing I do hate about live bands, though, that I see sometimes, is a guitarist that doesn't really know how to headbang with his guitar, so he just looks completely fucking awkward, and his whole body's bouncing, you know, and he's trying to get into it, and he's not really doing it correctly. That's a big pet peeve of mine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or they try to do that hardcore move where they pick the guitar up over their head and they hit themselves in the face with it or something. There you go. I'm just like, come on, dude, go home and practice first before
Did you see
you
his
start.
face though when you said that? He just goes, "Oh my god!"
So annoying. It is.
You don't want.
and you guys are doing Warped Tour again this summer?
Yeah.
Yes. So very briefly, for those bands that are like all these like local bands and stuff like that, they're going to get on Ernie Ball's stage or Kevin says stage or whatever. Give me just a couple of rules of survival for Warped Tour.
Don't fucking.
Wear shorts and have a beard.
Have an iPhone GPS.
No, just I think for new bands on small stages, because I did the whole Warped Tour 07 in a van, which is pretty fucking difficult. You know, Kevin makes sure that there's enough things available at the tour where everybody can be comfortable. I mean, there's showers at every place. You just got to get up and go find it. You know what I mean? Don't be lazy. There's 2 stages are usually in an amphitheater, which is pretty cool, and you can like hang out backstage, you know, in a nice cool temperature. There's catering for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like, go sit down and grab something to eat. Go meet bands, make friends, and
I think that's the most essential.
If you're
thing.
a new band, meet and become friends with someone who's in a band on a bigger stage, so you can get that catering and that food. Make sure you work that point, work that shit.
Get big.
well, yeah, that's another thing. Is like
Great.
just-
It's really great.
Also, find out when you're playing because you're in a different city every day, all day for that day. So, I mean, go out and hang out. You know, in the city, go do something. You know,
I think
play at
there's two main rules, and I think Maxie said like the one is make friends.
Yeah.
Get a bigger band to come watch you, and no matter what, you just make sure people are talking about you. No matter what you do, you got to make sure if they hate you, they love you, they got to be talking about you.
Yeah.
Because everyone's got to be going, who the fuck is this band? Because there's like 60 or 70 bands on any given day.
But just
You got to stand out.
like you got to like be yourself. Like when you talk to other bands, you don't want to be that annoying kid. It's like, oh yeah, man. And I'm like, all right, dude. Now I really don't want to watch your band right now, dude.
And it's hard not to be, man, because you're sharing a stage with your idols. It's hard, But
I was that dude.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that to Korn in a couple days. I know that's weird. The whole Korn, but yeah, I'm gonna do it. We're gonna play with them pretty soon.
Really?
Yeah, it's some rock festival
And
in
I'm gonna
Tucson.
try and be one of those guys. Just because they started the whole music thing for me. I know it's a weird band to say, but
So like what? You just kind of let's go back to like the early days of your band and Blessed Falls too. I think you made a good point, Robert, about you're competing technically with 60 other bands to get your band to break out from all those bands. And whether it was you guys want to talk about your early days, the early shows in Vegas, or you want to talk about let's not talk about like the MySpace way of doing it, but let's think about the old school way, which is the flyers, the going up to people. I've been to Warped Tour too many times to even count. And, you got that friend of yours, it's a friend of the band or something like that, or part of a local street team, and they just come up, they throw you the flyer and they walk away.
Yeah.
So, like, are there things that work for you guys that you have found worked for you to kind of get your name out, to make your band stand out more from a, I guess, like a, from I guess a street marketing way? I don't know how corporate that sounds, but you know what I mean?
I, like, even on this tour at venues or even Warped Tour, I go out there and I try to make sure that I stay there and talk to everyone and have a conversation with as many people as I can, not just like, hey, can you sign this? There you go, bud. Thanks. See you later. I try to sit there and, get to know people, make friends, and go hang out with fans as much as I can until it gets to that awkward point where I'm standing there and there's like one person left. Yeah. I'm just like, hey, bud. Like, so, I try to do that every night, and, that seems to work.
When you're starting, dude, that's an investment, man.
Yeah.
Because like I was a huge fan of Avenged Sevenfold back in the day.
Okay.
And like when they're starting out, they were just about getting ready to start their second record, and they came up and they talked to me, and I was just like, whoa, fuck, who are these guys? They're cool, And I liked their band, and them talking to me just made me go like, wow, dude, these guys are really fucking cool, and I would do anything for them at that point. It's an investment that you make.
I think that's what I was saying about having a cool image. But,
what?
Well, you said promoting ourselves.
Yeah.
Walking by and seeing our poster. That's why I want to look cool, because that kids want to grab. I want to grab out you.
Mm-hmm. I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
like, so where it
the
stands out.
poster stands out when you're walking by.
Yeah, man.
I know what he's saying.
Well, you said Event Sevenfold. I was thinking they have a cool image.
Yeah, they do. They're cool, man. But like, it is like an investment. Like when you meet kids that are fucking obsessed with music, and all they want to do is talk about bands and find the coolest new band. And
right.
If you stand out to them, you have an amazing live show. Like I saw Blessed to Fall, on that Warped Tour, and I walked past and I stopped. I was like, oh, dude, these are the guys we're touring with, and I was like, God damn, dude, that fucking singer is insane. Like, I was jealous.
He's kissing ass right now.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah. No, I was jealous, and
He wants something from me.
I do. His hoodie would fit me really good, but like he did, and I mean, I wasn't really a fan of Blessed Falls, and at the time I didn't know their music really, but I saw him and I was just like, fuck, dude, this guy is fucking gnarly, dude, and then he was super cool when I met him and everything, so it just made me go like, dude, they're legit, And
did you guys ever have an idol like be a total dick to you? Like somebody let you down?
Thanks.
Max lets me down all the time.
I'm sure I'm that guy for some fans, though.
Well, I mean, think about that. I mean, because there is that point where I've known I know a couple of lead singers where you guys said it, like you got to be cool about it, you got to be obtainable.
Yeah.
But then there's that level or that point where all of a sudden, if you're unobtainable, if, as you were saying, Brian, you're the guy that walks by and ignores them.
Yeah.
where you have like this air of superiority. There's something about that whole thing about, well, it's a rock star. They're supposed to act that way.
Well, I
you know,
mean,
it makes you more wanted.
There's a difference. If
Nowadays-
you're going to be seen and you're going to be out there, be nice and talk to people. If you want to have that kind of superiority, just stay where you're supposed to be. You know, let people maybe catch a glimpse of you backstage or something. Like, is he back there? And then you don't get the whole, he walked right by me and I was asking him a question and he's a dick. Like, don't go walk into people if you're not going to stand there and talk to them.
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah, you can have like that rock star mystique without being an asshole.
There's definitely a major difference though upon how big you are. When you're starting out, being a dick is not the right way to go about things. But once you reach a certain level where there's so many fucking people around you at all times and they always want something from you, it gets pretty frustrating, and that's what makes people be assholes and makes you want to get away from everybody. And
but
the best way to deal with that is to seclude yourself and be untouchable and unattainable by just physically staying away.
If you're out there and you're like signing stuff and taking pictures and it's like boom, 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 you're like, all right, well, hold on, just let me change my shirt real quick. Then it's like, you know, then you leave. It's like, oh, I want him to come back out. Oh, God, he's gonna come back out. I want to get over here. He's gonna come back out. You know, so it's like it works.
Which one? It sucks because we got to live like a lot of fans don't understand that all of us live under a microscope. Like every little thing we do, every little thing we say is going to be heard and posted somewhere, and it's going to be blown up into like a huge fucking ordeal, and that sucks sometimes, and that definitely affects our attitudes personally in our lives and in our shows and the way we treat people sometimes, because like some people just don't realize like, you know, what they're doing, I think.
Especially
Most
with
of
our
the time.
background. Our background, that makes it a lot more magnifying.
Yeah.
Well, before we, I do want to talk about the myths, and also because you made a really, really good point, Craig, that there is something to be said about being underneath a microscope and how things get blown out of proportion, how you guys deal with it as a band, and there's a very easy way to get defensive about it,
yeah,
and then there's another way where you have to try and control it somehow. So we'll talk about that, but we take 2 music breaks, and this first music break, you guys have got a lot of fans, and they probably want to know what you guys are listening to that is not your own record. So we'll start with Robert. We'll just go. Just give me one song, one artist. So a song from each of you guys. It could be any artist, any song. That is like your favorite song right now. Yeah, you write your iPod.
I thought I did, but
This is a song called Blasphemy by Machiavelli, also known as Tupac, dude. That was his alter ego, right? Or something. Machiavelli.
I've been listening to Manson a lot lately. Like, I've been a Manson fan since I was like in 4th or 5th grade. I've just been completely obsessed. And lately I've been listening to his Lest We Forget the Best Of CD, and then his Hollywood CD. Then I've been listening to like the song Saint. It's on my MySpace. And then I love the song This Is the New Shit. And then actually just last night I was talking. I could go on about Manson forever. Last night I was listening to talking about his song Lunchbox, because he's talking about like, he's like, one of the lyrics is, I want to grow up, or when I grow up I want to be a big rock and roll star or whatever, and he talks about how he used to get picked on a lot, and I was like, when I was younger I used to get picked on a lot and I love this song. You know.
What have I been jamming lately? Death Clock. Been listening to Death Clock a lot. Metalocalypse.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, been jamming them.
Do anything for Death Clock.
Fuck yeah. I think that's all we've all been listening to by default. You walk on the bus, you just hear fucking death metal.
I put the DVD in and just press play all day long.
All I hear is the fastest double
bus
bass
driver
ever.
likes opera. Watch. Yeah.
I've been listening to Anthony Robbins. No, that's
Motivational
Tony
speaking.
Robbins.
I was gonna say, like, okay.
no, but
Motivational speaking.
I guess I have an Aerosmith's Greatest Hits, and I've been playing that because I don't know,
Any particular
classical rock. Just
sure. Any particular song that you?
particular song. Well, I just play it the shuffle on my
Just anything.
So whatever bounces out of that. It's called the Big Ones.
All right. Well, then we'll just wheel the we'll just spin the iPod song clicker and
right
pick
here.
one. All right. Well, you can pick one. That's all right. How do you struggle with myths and the myth making out there? And you know, it's not. I don't want to make this something like where you guys are feeling like you have to defend things. I don't want to turn into that for you because I'm sure you're probably tired of it. But I do want to kind of talk about like how you guys deal with it, like how it makes you feel. the frustrations, the anger, and how you tend to respond to some of it with people. And so, like, I was over, I took a look at a record review for the new record, and this one critic online said that, he kind of written off the band in the past records. He got the new one, and he was like, I'm going to give this a shot. And he basically was saying, this is what I know about Escape the Fate as I'm walking to this record. He's like, number one, Escape the Fate of becoming fast in the past couple of years for A, great hair, B, the lead singer killed some guy or something, C, seeing kids shit themselves. That's good. D, molesting girls at their shows. And E, I guess, flashing their dicks at venues. And this is what this guy says. So
3 out of 5 is pretty fucking badass on that list, man.
This stuff gets read on a message board, right? People don't know who you are necessarily, other fans or people that are not fans yet. And they're going to start automatically think, this is what these guys are about. Now, he may not know. He may have heard second, third, fourth person. I've known plenty of journalists and fans and stuff who said, oh, yeah, that band is blah, blah, blah. And, and they're like, no, that band doesn't really like that. They're nothing like that at all. Yeah. So how do you guys deal with all that kind of stuff?
You know what happens, man, is that when you hear shit like that, you start to question everything, and you start to go, well, fuck, man, or does anyone not take us seriously, or they don't know what the fuck's going on. They don't know what I've dealt with this past fucking year. They don't know how traumatic my life has been. I've watched my dreams rise and fall simultaneously. They don't know that shit, and all they know is that we're fucking, crazy and shit. And, we are. We've done a number of things that, is worth talking about, and people are going to be interested. And the message boards, that's what you're going to be talking about. It's hard to sell a music magazine talking about music. You got to talk about the fucking interesting shit, like what would you guys do backstage, or, and you know what, but people go to a show and they buy records not just based on that. They buy them because the songs are fucking good and because they connect to it and they love it. And that's where you kind of got to take a step back and go, fuck all this, dude. You got to log off the fucking the websites and get off all that shit and just deal with what's in front of you. And, this tour, more than any other tour we've done, has brought it to life, has shown us what our music has accomplished and how many people it truly has reached. And, I'm blown away watching ourselves rise to the next level. And I wasn't sure a year ago when, I didn't really have a place to live. And I was just like, fuck, what am I going to do? What are we going to do? And watching it now, like where we are, and we've overcome all that shit. And, all you got to do is just kind of push it aside and say, well, fucking people are going to talk. As long as it's about me, who cares? And it's hard to deal with at times when you're like, fuck, you want to go respond to some 12-year-old kid who fucking has their opinion. You want to go respond to him, go, fuck you, you weren't there. You don't know what I dealt with. You don't know what he did, and it's fucking frustrating. It is. I'm not gonna lie. It fucking irritates you. It questions your morale, and you're like, fuck, dude, why do I do this? But then, like I said, you overcome that. You look in the fans' eyes, and they're singing the songs, and the new songs, they're singing them. They're singing old ones that, they would have never got to see because we were canceling tours and we were in so much trouble. I got to see those songs come to life, and, Craig fucking steps in, and, he sings those songs with such conviction. Like, he may not have been that part of the band, but he pays respect to that aspect of our band. And so those rumors are just like, they fuel the fire in a way, and they make you appreciate what you have a lot more.
Yeah. That was
damn.
That was good.
It's at the end of the day, if the whole venue is full of people with their middle fingers up in the air, and there's one kid that I see in the front row, and he looks like he's on drugs because he's so into the show, and his hands are up in the air, and he's singing along. It's just, I just picture myself like zooming into his face and being at the front of the crowd doing that same thing, because that's what I used to do. And I'm like, why am I going to put on a bad show or try to let this affect me for this kid? Because, all the shows I've been to, all the artists have, been very supportive and very nice, and I was that kid in the front row, getting my ribs broken by the barricade, and, man, I want to do this. This is my dream. And it's like, you know, maybe that kid's gonna be where I'm at one day. So, you know, fuck everybody else here. Like, one kid can make a difference. I'll play for one kid in a crowd of 1,000 people with their middle fingers up in the air. I don't give a shit.
Especially if it's Escape the Fate foam middle fingers. Yeah. Come to our shows.
But
it's all about marketing.
Here's the thing, though, man. Is you take a look at a few years ago. There's a girl who released a record her whole life has been built on her whole success of anything that she's done has been built on controversy and rumors. And she released a record and it fucking flopped. You know why? Because she didn't have talent and she didn't sing well. And that's Paris Hilton. You know, she didn't sell records. You know why? Because she didn't have good songs. They didn't mean anything. You know, and you know, she tried, which is cool, but that's not her thing. Her whole thing is just but her whole thing is that she broke up with this dude from guitarist, so it's okay.
Oh, she did?
Yeah, so it's okay.
Yeah. Such a bad record.
But I mean, I never heard it. But I mean, like, her whole life has been. You know.
I mean, I've never heard it.
But I mean, her whole life has been built on fucking getting people to talk about her.
Right.
Doesn't sell a record. You know, people don't respond to that. They respond to the music, and that's why they're responding to what we do. You know,
is like
rumors aside.
Yeah, like all that shit. Like how Robert's saying, like you just want to get on and be like, no, this would happen, and like. I know, like, especially for me, it was gnarly because it was like, oh, you know, back and forth. And I was like, no, it was like this, and I was like that. And then, like, I was losing my mind, and I was like, you know what, dude? Fuck that. I would call my manager, freaking out. I'm so fucking pissed, dude.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with that is
like,
Max would respond, and then people would take his response and put his response everywhere and be like, look how much of a dick Max is. This is what he said to me, a fan. And then the Max is just like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you not including what you said to me? And it's just a back and forth thing. It sucks.
Not even really that. It's just like, I mean, you know, there's always gonna be some kid that's gonna like, you know, take this. I mean, especially over if you're typing, you can't tell how someone's talking or whatever else. But it just got to the point where I was like, you know what? I'm done responding. I'm done talking back. You can say what you want. We're gonna save it for the stage. You know what I'm saying? It's like just take all that energy, take all that. Whatever you're pissed off about or sad about or whatever else, and save it for the stage because that's where it belongs and that's where you're going to really prove to people what's up.
Did you guys get to that point where you just stopped looking at certain sites?
You know what? Yeah. I deleted my MySpace. I got tired of it, and it's just not so much that. It's also I wanted to be less accessible. I didn't want people to be able to talk to me about that kind of shit. I just wanted them to talk to their friends about it, whatever, because like. It is, you realize, like, dude, it's a fucking 12-year-old little kid, dude, or some 14-year-old girl who thinks she knows more about me than I know, you know? And so you just kind of got to say, fuck that, dude. It's like, it's not worth it. It's not worth the frustration because what we're doing is bigger than this one kid's opinion right now because he still likes our band. He's just saying this because he wants to know what's up. And so I've stopped personally. I'll go on every once in a while, you know, just see how many plays we got, you know, of course. But you know what? It's you know you
Mexicans.
But you know you can't sit there and dwell on it though. You know, and you can't stay on forever, and you can't just keep trying to respond to every comment and every bulletin and every little question that they have. You can't. It's impossible. It'll eat you alive.
So the catch-22 of what I would think that a band in your case is kind of going through is that in one respect, as you said, Robert, you kind of want to be, well, a couple of you guys have said, you kind of want to be seen as real people and as human beings that got feelings, you get hurt, you get mad about some of the things that people are saying about you. Of course. But at the same time, part of what attracts fans to the big bands, the successful bands, is what we were talking about before, Brian, about being unobtainable and being the rock star and being the controversy, pseudo car wreck. And so when they do go to the show, there are some fans that like the story. They like the drama. They like, they went and got arrested and then they got this and then, they flipped off a priest in a church or, whatever. And it's just like, I know, I just gave you an idea. So
that's like me. I'm like, yeah, dude, fucking, you know what? Bigger, badder, let's do this.
So then how do you not get pulled one way or the other where you're too sincere, but that you're not too over the top and you start messing up everything?
I used to care about so much stuff and like
Really?
everyone and every little thing all the time. And like, you know, sometimes like I'd be on tour and I'd be just like staring at my bunk and just thinking like, oh my God, this, that, da, da. But you know what? Like after a while, I was like, you know what, dude? I got to a breaking point where it's like, you know what? You can't please everybody. You can. It's impossible. It is impossible, especially if like you're like, you know, in a band and you're doing things and there are stories about you and things like that and people are looking at you, you're reading about you and, oh, well, he used to do this or whatever else. Oh, well, now he doesn't do this or, you know, this, that, or whatever. It's like, you know what? Whatever you like, you know, pick one of them and, you know, let's do this or whatever. Like, you know, can't please everybody, though.
Really? Well, Craig used to be a Christian in his old band. Now he's going to escape the fate and worship Satan. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
You know, the
bro?
the Christian fans can be really judgmental.
Yeah, man.
Because you're not
like,
playing it down the line anymore.
Judgmental. I'm just
Catch-22. Catch-22.
Exactly. I'm just like, you have no clue what my beliefs are or what I believe in or anything. Like, I'm still a Christian, but it's like who cares? It's not like I'm, you know.
It's
I
like
hate people that judge people.
What people like to do is they like to set things in stone and or like, you know, like critics will have to, like when they're talking about like record reviews and stuff, they'll have to label what type of music it is.
Right,
they can't just say this is how it sounds. They have to label it. When you're talking about a band, you have to talk, oh, this is what happened or this is how this went down or this guy does drugs or, you know what, even though like, you know, maybe when you posted that, I was this person, but, you know, I have a real life and I change my moods change every fucking day. Mm-hmm. And, you know, when you're real, dude, shit happens. It's real life. You get arrested. You do shit that you shouldn't have done. You live and you learn. And you know, sometimes those things fucking, you know, people get a hold of those stories and they talk about it. And that's what separates it. And, you know, and it is real for us. We did go through those things. And, mm-hmm. It's made people talk up to this point. But you know,
I am who I am, and that's all that I am. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man.
Is there one big myth about this band that is not true that you guys feel like you're consistently having to try and correct?
Ronnie didn't go to jail for killing anyone. He went to jail for not being able to piss in a cup and pass a drug test. Period.
And
I fucking hate that.
Yeah, straight
question.
from the band. The band.
Because Max, he was like one of your best friends.
I was there. We were
and
best
you
friends for like
started the band with him, or was it
years.
Brian? Who started the band with
Me
Ronnie?
and Ronnie did.
You and Ronnie did. Okay.
Yeah.
we had dabbled in bands for years too, the three of
Me
us.
and
Okay.
Ronnie had been in bands together all through high school. Shit, I met Robert when he was like 14, dude. You know, so like, I've known him for a long time. And it's so silly, like all the things you're like, oh, no. I'm like, listen, dude, I was there, I lived it. I did a lot of fucking drugs with him or whatever. I did a lot of bad things too. Mm-hmm. But you know what? Like fucking, if you want to know what's up, like, you know, this is what's up.
Here's two main fucking things. All right.
Okay.
Two main things, and it sucks because it's like, you know, this is what gets people talking. Ronnie is not in jail because he killed someone. We didn't kick Ronnie out of the band because he killed someone. Mm-hmm. We're not in a band with him because he's a fucking asshole. He sucked to be around, and he was ruining our lives. And we had to move on, and we wanted to make music, and stars aligned, and we got Craig, you know? Mm-hmm. And Craig got us as well. And you know, and also, you know, he's going to talk because it's what he likes to do, and that's what gets people's attention. And he likes to say he's in jail because he didn't do something, you know, or he's in there for like the wrong reasons or whatever.
Right.
He's not in jail because he killed someone.
Isn't he out on probation? Didn't it just happen? I thought he was out on probation now.
No, that was another rumor. Supposedly he was supposed to be out on probation. And all I know is
at this point I don't follow up. So
I
I
understand.
think the main thing is everybody thinks there's two sides. Like Escape the Fate hates Ronnie Radke, and Ronnie Radke hates Escape the Fate.
I tell people all the time.
I think the main thing people need to realize is Escape the Fate does not hate Ronnie Radke. I don't. Nobody does. We're all hoping that he gets better and he does good for himself.
Right,
dude.
It's just, you know, it's just things happen for a reason, and Ronnie and Escape the Fate is done with, and we all support him and hope he does well. And I think that's the main thing people think is like, you guys are fucking assholes. That's your old singer. You guys should support him. It's like, you guys don't see that we're supporting him. You know what I mean?
You know,
we do support him. It's just, it's hard when he's doing interviews and saying it's everybody else's fault and he hates us. And, you know, we try to do that all the time. We're like,
he was like that in the AP
Ronnie.
story.
The thing is,
come on.
The thing is, straight up, is that like me and him were literally attached at the hip, and where he is right now, straight up, I can say this with 100% like confidence and honesty. He was gonna die if he did not go to jail. He was going to die like soon. Like he was just on a path to destruction. And, I was on that path to destruction too for a while, and that's why I can say I know that this was the best thing for him in his life at that time.
I think it's the best thing for you too, Max.
You just gotta be humble,
And I tell everyone, like, how I can turn you back on your best friend? Fuck, if he gets out, dude, I'll go buy him a meal, dude. I want to hang with him again and just see how he's doing, because the Ronnie that I know, that I met when I was 15 years old, and the Ronnie that I knew, at 23 and he was 24 when he was at jail or whatever else, is not the same person at all. And I'd love for that old Ronnie to come back and him to turn into that again. I think it'd be great. I don't know if, he's got his thing now and we've got our thing, and I'm sure we're both completely happy where we are in our lives. I know I am, and my band is now, but I just want him to mentally come back to himself. I think that'd be great.
I don't want to.
But real quick though, before I don't see that happening though, unfortunately, because I think a lot of the fans that he hears and whoever are his close friends, quote unquote, that are surrounding him are feeding into his ego. And instead of being in prison and going, fuck, what did I do? What did I do to my life? What did I do to my friends who actually did care? What did I do to my family? And instead of going there and, having all these revelations come to him, he's sitting there and going, fuck them. And, I have these fans. I can still fucking do this, and doing it all just to spite everyone else.
Yeah,
he's blaming some sort of evil force that's only there in his mind. We're not against him, and no one is against him. He's just out to prove everyone wrong, but no one's saying
he can do it, man. He can do it.
I hope he does well. But we can't sit and dwell. We're on to other
the whole
things.
new singer and his old band thing. Like, I'm going through the same exact thing, and I think people kind of lose sight of that too. It's it's like me and Bless the Fall parted ways. Maybe a little less hardcore than Escape the Fate and Ronnie, because there's really no drugs. It's because I drank a lot, straight up. I was like an alcoholic when me and Bless the Fall split up. And, there's somebody else out there singing my songs right now, playing shows with Bless the Fall, but I love the guy. I think they found a great new singer, and we all get along well, and we're all friends again, because I was humble and sat back, and I was like, you know what? I'm doing my thing. You guys are doing your thing. Let's just be proud of each other and wish each other luck. And then that's not the only thing. I started a side project, and they kicked me out of my band, of my side project band that I started. They got a new singer so they could get signed. It's like, so now there's two bands.
The word alive.
The word alive.
Yeah.
So now there's two bands and new singers, and it's just like, at the end of the day, you just gotta be like, you know what? I just gotta continue.
Some things
doing
are
my thing.
not meant to be.
Yeah, exactly.
And
So
I guess once you put all those things aside, you realize, when you're a kid growing up, that you started this because you enjoy playing music, and that's what we're doing now.
yeah.
Right. There was a piece. What I was going to say before was that I don't want to rehash the entire Ronnie story again, because I think that if anybody wants to read about it, they can pick up AP. They can go on the internet. They can find out what's there and try and piece out the whole thing together. But there was a couple of notes on it as being musicians that are kind of like what you guys are dealing with now, and as struggling musicians, because you guys are in a very unique, very unfortunate spot, and that you're kind of dealing with afterbirth, I guess, to a certain extent.
Yeah.
So there was a piece that was buried in one of the stories I read, Craig, where it was last spring, and it was in Vegas. And again, if this is a myth, if this is incorrect, just tell me, all right? But that it was one of your first shows that you had with the band.
Extreme thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ronnie was in the audience up front, supposedly, with some of his friends, and he was flipping you off the whole time. That had to have been a major sweat time or bummer or piss you.
I stayed as strong as I could, and I think I did an okay job. I don't know. Max kind of went off. Max kind of went off the end.
I got mad
bit.
because we were all practicing and we're doing great. And I'm like, fuck yeah, Craig, don't worry, you're gonna kill it.
Yeah.
And then I see Craig a little stressed on stage, and we go to introduce our new song that we wrote at the time, which was The Flood. And Craig's like, all right, this new song's called. I'm like, hold on a minute, dude. I can't stand no more. And I'm like, you know what? This song's called If I Could Stay Off Drugs, Maybe I'd Still Be in My Band. And I look over the side,
pretty bad,
and the people in Epitaph are like, like jaw to the floor. Dude. But it was like, you know what, dude? I'm not gonna let you ruin my fucking show, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it was good. I mean, I had a ton of kids coming up to me after the show,
killed
being
it.
like, "I respect you so much. I can't believe you stayed so strong and you stayed up on the stage and you finished the show."
So
like,
there was a tenseness with
so
them. Everybody in the audience knew what the hell was going on.
Bro,
Yeah,
it
it's
was-
like, and it's still
really?
it's still like that
It
to
was
this day.
tense.
There's still I mean, not on that big of a level, but there is still two different sides of people. But what's weird about it is that they're still coming to our show. You know what I mean? Like last night, I think was the first time that I saw.
That was the first time. It was like
That was the first time that I saw there was two guys up on the balcony and they were wearing like Team Ronnie t-shirts. Like the whole time they're like up like this, and I'm like, "Yo, what's up, dude? Nice t-shirt, bro."
Thanks, dude. Those tickets paid for our gas.
Yeah, you know what I
Paid
mean?
for my bus.
But it's like he's not here, man. Like you paid to come to our show. If you want to support him, go support him. Go on his MySpace for his new band and show him some support. But I mean, after the show, I was like, actually, love you guys. Thank you so much for coming out. 'Cause
That's
at the end of the day, I still respect them for supporting their artists, like their favorite artists, like
Right.
that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
that show
I have
though
respect for both.
yeah,
that-
I have respect on both sides. Like, you know what I mean?
that Vegas show was fucking ridiculous, man.
Yeah,
it was in
pretty-
front of a shitload of fucking people, and like I said earlier today, when you like with us, our band, what makes it interesting is you never know what's gonna happen when you walk on that stage, and that was one of those times where it's like it's memorable. I hate thinking about it, but you know what? It is what it is.
Yeah.
Just take it and learn from it.
Do you ever feel, Craig, that and I don't mean this as an insult, okay?
Yeah.
So no matter what you think of his career, that's how I mean it. Do you ever feel like you're Sammy Hagar?
You know what? That's fucking real funny because I think we were just talking about that the other night, weren't we?
I don't know if I was there. Maybe I was passed
Maybe we were
out.
just all wasted talking about it. But no, yeah. Fuck, was it? I don't know. I know we were talking about it at one point, and I was like, fuck, I feel like we're the new Van Hagar right now or something like that. You know what I mean? And then at the end of the day, I sit back, I'm like, wait a second, this band has one record and one EP, and that's it.
Right.
They just got big fast, so it's
He's
like,
already been in the band like basically as long as the lead singer was.
as the old vocalist
That's
was.
interesting.
I've already been in the band just as long as the old vocalist was. I've already, actually, I'm the only singer that has completed a full tour with Escape the Fate.
Yeah, we've never completed a full tour until Craig joined the band.
Make sure somebody updates it on the Wikipedia page, by the way. Little pieces of it. So I want one more question about the lead singer thing, and kind of like the switch over here with this war is ours, the new record. Fill me in. Was that record written? The lyrics written by Ronnie and then rewritten by you, Craig, or are you still doing Ronnie's lyrics?
There was not one song on that record
way.
that was ever guitar parts, vocal parts, lyric parts. There was nothing done for that record at all until I got in the band.
All right, because
Craig wrote the lyrics for
that's
the
part
new
of
album.
all right, that's part of the myth then. All right, yeah.
Because a lot of people said that too. Like, it's just people not wanting to accept that they still like the band without their old singer in it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because when The Flood came out, there was a lot of people that were like, and then like, oh my God, I love this song. But the only reason I like it is because Ronnie wrote it.
That's
It's
what
like,
it's fucking.
Go
doesn't
ahead
make
and think
sense,
what you
but
want, dude.
Yeah.
Go ahead and think what you want. At least you still like them song. Like, come to the show, sing along. It'll be a big party. That's all I care about. You know? Whatever.
Craig, I think it's interesting. It's worth taking a look at as much as being a singer that is singing someone else's pain.
Yeah.
And you didn't have a good childhood. I mean, I guess you went to a reform school, or you didn't. You went to a rehab,
Detention center.
detention center.
Yeah.
Thank you. Reform probably would have been better. But you went to a detention center, and you went through a lot of crap. And you talked
dude,
about
I've been through some shit, man.
the AP story. I mean, would you come out of a house of of domestic violence or?
Well, yeah, my dad was in the military, and his side of the family was really, really religious, like wanted me to go to church every day. And I mean, there was even a time in my life where the pastor was threatening to kick my ass and kick me and my whole family out of the church. And I haven't been to church since I was 16 because of that point. And I don't know, just he was in the military, and he was cheating on my mom the whole time growing up. And, I was being a bad kid, so I learned when I was 18. He told me, he's like, well, we were going to get a divorce earlier, but I was scared you'd do something stupid if you weren't 18. I was like, oh, sick. But I don't know. I love him now. We're like best friends. But growing up, I definitely was his
black sheep.
person. Yeah, the black sheep. Like he got out all of his anger on on me a lot of the times. And I don't know, it's just a hard childhood, and music kind of helped me through that. And I feel like now I get the opportunity to help other kids, no matter what they're going through, get through it. And it's like, of course I'm singing old songs of somebody else's pain. And like I said before, Bo Boken, bless the fall, he's out there singing songs of my pain. He's out there singing a song called Ihina, which is my grandmother's name, and there's somebody out there singing it. And it's like,
Great song.
At the
Great
end of
song,
the day,
by the
I
way.
got to sit back and I got to be like, all I'm happy about is that song is still living. That song's still being performed on stage, whether it's by me or not, and kids are still up there singing it, which just gives the song life. And that's why I try to put as much feeling as I can into the old songs. And there's even some old songs we've agreed that we won't play because it was too personable to one person.
So the fans won't request it. Go ahead and go on record now. What will you not play?
Day I Left the Womb.
Yeah, we'll never play that.
Definitely. That is Ronnie's song. That's way too personal for him, and none of us will overstep that boundary. Which, once again, showing respect and support for that guy. So
Right.
hopefully he does the same. But there's just certain things like that. I mean, we played. When I go out, I want to go out in Chariot of Fire at a couple shows, and then we stopped playing that because that was kind of personal too. I don't know. There's a few songs out there that's just kind of like, maybe we shouldn't. Now we got new songs to play, so.
We just want to play the new ones mainly.
So let's take our second music break, and then we'll wrap this up. Give me off of your music, okay? Give me the song that you think, if I'm a new I'm just learning via this interview about Escape the Fate. Give me the song that probably best exemplifies Escape the Fate.
Well, that's hard though.
Well, no, hold on a second. Let me categorize it. That wonderful beat. Yeah, exactly. Unfortunately, give me the one that best it gives an example of Escape the Fate when Ronnie was in the band. You think, and then give me one that you guys this is your favorite song right now off the new record, and then for the third song we'll play, give me the song that changed the most on the new record, like from when you guys were working together and between what it sounds like now on the final record. So first, give me the one off like either the EP or the first record that you think is typical.
That's so hard though, because like our sound is like split. Like
That's such an easy choice.
Like
dude.
lifestyle wise, off the first record, I'd say The Webs We Weave categorizes me and Ronnie
That's what I was gonna
in
say.
the band like almost to a T.
Okay.
Because it's just like, lyrics say it all right there. So.
Okay.
And then, what was the second question?
Then what's your favorite song off this record? Like, what's the song that you guys are most proud of?
Fuck.
Think something.
I like the whole record. Me personally, I think I like It's Just Me, just because it's so different and it's so dark, and I'm really happy with how it came out, and just lyric wise, like I don't know, I just like that song.
It's
all
real
the way
personal.
Around.
I'd say two songs off the new record would categorize this band, and everything would be 10 Miles Wide and We Won't Back Down. I'd say those two.
No, I think.
Oh, fuck you.
Well, I think we're gonna play the whole record. Since we can't come to an agreement.
A song that changed the most.
I think This War Is Ours and something kind of exemplify both sides of us,
I like
of
10
who
miles
we are.
wide though.
Yeah, I think
10 miles
Playing the
wide.
whole record.
Just the whole record, dude.
10 miles wide, and it's just.
And
me.
song that changed the most is It's Just Me, I think, by far, because it just.
I don't know. The flood didn't change too much, actually.
All right, the one song right here. Here we go.
What?
Well, air guitar makes no sound.
Which one?
Yeah.
No.
What is he doing?
Let's say one song. Think of one song.
Probably It's Just Me, man. It was the most out there that we went with anything.
No, the song that changed the most.
The
from when we wrote it
This War Is
before we were in the
Ours.
studio.
The intro of This War Is Ours.
Yeah.
Changed quite a bit. We really fought for the intro that's on the album to that song.
Well, the
that's
chorus
true,
and the
that's
flood
true.
changed a lot.
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah.
Oh, is this the stuff where you're talking about that you and the producer?
What do you mean?
Feldman
What do you
were-
mean? That's what we mean. Like, I'm confused. Like, do you mean like physically, like the song just changed, like
in its
writing
format?
it?
Yeah,
Or-
exactly. Its format. Like you guys,
Yeah,
it was
that's
originally
what I'm
written as
saying, the
this,
flood.
and by the time you guys got done with
okay.
it, it was something
Well, then
completely
it's-
different.
Then It's
flood.
Just Me was like the same thing because
Yeah, It's Just Me was the same.
That's what I'm
Nothing
saying. The
changed.
flood changed the most because we had written that song and played it live, before we went in the studio. And then it changed strictly because guitar tunings dropped down.
Yeah.
And then it was like way too high for me to sing, so then I had to sing lower. I don't know. That song just changed up a lot.
Yeah,
I was so
Yeah.
unhappy with it when we first did it because I was like, fuck, it changed so much and I like the original way. And now it's grown on me, so. But that definitely is the song that changed the most in the studio.
Yeah.
The problem was that most of it was written in the studio. So you can't really say a lot of it changed. A lot of it got put together in the studio. So
When we wrote with Feldman, it was weird from Basquiat. Like, we had to have songs with Basquiat, and then with Feldman, he's like, just give me the raw shit you guys got. Like, give me riffs. Give me, hooks. Just give me this.
I was like, really?
So it was kind of like, wait, we don't have any song. Are you sure we're ready to go in? But, like, we did, but it wasn't. It was different from how we did it last time.
It's like,
Me and Brian still have like 4 or 5 of the songs on the record originally that we did like 6 months prior to being in the studio.
Yeah, we got new songs ready to go.
I was in the band like 3 months before the first show. Like, I was living in Vegas writing the record.
When Craig officially became a 100% official member,
Bamboozle.
was Bamboozle left, or it was a show we played there, and we went, fuck this, dude, this is awesome. We're a band. This is it. The next day we went in the studio.
Yeah, you went into the pool.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, which at this point
We're known for winging it.
because like I think when you do that though, just real quick, like that makes the next record really exciting because now we've gotten to know each other a little more, and now we've gotten to kind of see where we sound, and we've learning that we like to fuck around with different styles and
So
so
excited for the next one.
So the next one's already being written, and it's gonna be
Really?
Yeah, we have like 4 songs that I'm so excited about.
That's something that we're like. It's gonna be fucking. I think our opus, dude.
I think it's because Craig finally is with us now, so we could write with him. Before
We're
we were
with him
rushed into
too,
it.
though.
Yeah, well, we were kind of rushed into the first album a little bit. We were kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah, because it's like now this is the band studio next day. Oh fuck, dude, we don't have songs.
So now we
Gotta
click.
write songs.
Oh. Now that we've had like more time to
Chemistry's
really,
there.
chemistry, like feel each other out, like for the last
We feel
year.
each other all the time.
Because you have your whole life to write the first record. You have your whole life to write the first record. So
Yeah.
And with him, we wrote it as we recorded it. So it was hard. I'm surprised we even came out with an album. But that shows like
I think you're telling a little too much.
all right.
A little too much.
Basically,
Cut that
no.
out, like,
Remember the Mystique talk we had, pal?
You said you started AP, right?
Yeah.
I just want to tell you, I love your magazine.
Thank you.
I read it all the time.
Thanks. Awesome. I wish I could do more with it.
Yeah, every time
love
I go,
AP.
every
I
time
wish
I
I
go
could
grocery
do. I wish I
shopping,
could come
go
out as
buy
often as Rolling Stone and put twice as many bands on the cover.
I remember.
Badass.
I remember.
Wouldn't it?
I remember back a while ago, and I was working at Smith's or whatever, at this grocery store back home. And after that, like, I'd always go to the magazines on my breaks, or whenever I'd just go to the grocery store, I'd always look at the magazines. I'd always flip through AP. I remember the first time we were in AP, I was like, I read this magazine. I always read this magazine.
Dude, I remember starting out looking through
remember
AP,
that.
and I'd be
Cashing my
going
check.
through.
It's
like,
up on the
who's
wall
in it
right
this
now.
month, and I'd see a band that I knew. How?
Yeah.
Why not me?
Like we're better than them.
That actually happens quite a bit. You get to the band on the side, and no recorders on and stuff, and they'll sit there and go, they'll turn to me and they go, "How the fuck did you put that band on the cover? They don't deserve it. They suck. They're blah." And then 20 minutes of tearing apart the band about every reason.
Everybody has their own opinions on music, and
Why are musicians so nasty to each other?
because
Because it's a big race. It's a big race to the
It's
top.
a big race to the top.
It's
Jealous.
it's a friendly competition, but it's a competition.
With that. I had a big problem before where I'd get jealous and I'd be like, man, fucking, I should be up there. Then at the end of the day, I just got to sit back and how many artists are out there? How many bands are out there playing the same venues? It's like, just do your own thing, man.
Dude,
Everybody else's opinion.
I realized I do on this like past month was the first time I ever like was like kind of happy for like Hollywood
do
and
you
Dead.
need to be the biggest fucking band on the
Like,
face of the planet?
Exactly.
No.
Like Hollywood,
Just enjoy the
Hollywood
fact
and
that you get to
Dead,
make
like
music.
they've been around for years. They were around before us, and now that they're being successful, I'm hearing them on the radio, and at first you're like, fuck, why aren't we on the fucking radio, man? But then you're like, I'm proud of those guys, dude. That's awesome, that's good for them, and Now I'm finally starting to accept it and find new bands and
I think
appreciate
that's
it,
that's why all of our attitudes have changed.
Yeah, I think we've been in the game for a minute.
Lineup, you know what I mean?
That's my main thing I want to do is bring that part of that world to people. I'd say
I just want all bands to be a family. I don't think there should be jealousy or competition whatsoever because everybody does their own thing. Critics have their own opinions.
Right.
You know, you get a critic out there where the band might be horrible, but the critic likes the band. This record gets 5 out of 5 stars. Like, you know, and you can easily listen to it and be like, dude, what do you mean 5 out of 5 stars? This is horribly engineered, horribly produced, you know?
I wouldn't even care. Like, you know how Tim Burton has the dark when you go watch the movie? That's what I like. I just want to bring that to musically, that space. I like that.
Do you guys ever find it difficult to enjoy yourself at somebody else's show without analyzing it all in your head?
It's hard.
You know,
Really?
That's one thing that is like a curse. Is like after being in the studio and like writing and doing things, like when I listen to music, like for the longest time, like I couldn't just listen to it and enjoy it. I would like pick apart like the song, or I would just like listen to one instrument and be like, that sound, or I don't like that sound, or like, you know, I have to be like, just fucking listen to it, Max. Like,
dude, I know exactly.
Definitely is a curse that musicians get. Is it's almost impossible to listen to something and just be able to enjoy that somebody's making music.
You're finally like,
you just second nature pick apart everything.
You know, I saw Metallica, man, a couple months ago. Fucking my favorite band since I was like fucking born, and huge arena show, fucking 15 trucks, all this production, and I'm just sitting here, my favorite band playing my favorite songs, and I'm going, man, I wonder how many guitars he's got over there. Like, is Lars Tech gonna come out and tune his snare, dude? What's going on? You know, and I'm just picturing all the stuff, how much it probably costs to do this, what their tour manager's doing, because I know all that stuff, you know? And it's like, it doesn't seem that different from what I'm doing. It's just on such a bigger scale, you know? It's kind of weird. I don't like it.
You know, Craig, I do want to talk about, because I really don't get a chance to talk about this too much, but it's so much a part of being a musician that is overlooked. And you talked about it in AP Story, you've talked about it in, I think, Kerrang as well. But when you were departing, bless the fall, you talked briefly in a couple stories about the legal crap you went through, that you had to settle. Mm-hmm. And because, you know, you wrote songs and you weren't going to be the band anymore, and how do you make sure you get paid, and, you know, all this other stuff, and who owns the rights to what, and stuff like that. So what are some things that you learned about that ugly aspect of, boring aspect of legality and being a musician?
I think, especially for new musicians coming out, just be grateful that you're getting an opportunity to make music and do something, no matter who's managing you, what label's signing you. Be grateful, but at the same time, watch your ass. You know what I mean?
How so?
At the same time, know that you can't trust anyone in the music business.
I think 50 Cent said it best. These industry niggas ain't friends. They know how to pretend.
When it comes to a business point of view, they might be your best friend. And, you know, personally, you guys are really good friends. But when it comes down to business, you got to watch your ass. Because everyone is going to try to fuck you in the littlest way, the biggest way, no matter what way, because that's the way it works. You know, and it's kind of what happened to me. Like, you know, the manager flew out to London while I was over in Europe with Bless the Fall. And, you know, it just started getting to me one night, and I was just sitting there, and I was like, what am I doing here? Why am I so unhappy? Yeah. And he was getting ready to leave to go back to the States, and I was like, hey, can we sit down and have a talk? Like, so I sat down, and I talked to the band, and I was like, look, I don't know if I want to do music anymore. I have a kid at home that's getting older by the day. I'm super unhappy. We barely talk to each other anymore. It's like, I just don't know if I want to do this anymore. They're like, well, finish out this tour. You know, I was told by management and everything, you know, finish out this tour and then do Taste of Chaos we have coming up, and I'll pay you this in advance, and then we'll see where you stand then. I was like, all right. Long story short, a week later, you know, girlfriend goes in the hospital, needs some money. I ask for money to be sent home. There's no money to be sent home, even though I just got told I was gonna get paid. So I was like, screw this, I'm going home then. And nobody tried to keep me there, which was another thing. It was like, you want to go home? Cool. Later. Good riddance. And I was like, well, I'm not going to stay out here for people that don't want me here. So it's just go home. Then after a week, it only took like a week or two to analyze everything, and I was like, fuck, dude, I need to get back out on the road. I need to play music. That's what I love doing. It's the only thing I'm okay at, you know. And that's when the band informed me that they didn't want me to come back. And then I remember I was so upset. So everybody that I had an interview with and everything, I was just like, oh, this legal bullshit, because it was right around Christmas time. Since I said I wasn't in the band, I had no publishing checks. I received none for that whole year, even though they were still selling records. I got charged for merch and things out in Europe because I had left that tour. So I had to pay for things over there, which upset me even more. And still to this day, I haven't really received anything from my publishing. And even the Science, the label that went under, the only reason they let me sign to Epitaph and Escape the Fate was if I signed over all my rights to that music, and then they would let me go.
So you were stuck.
Yeah, I was pretty much stuck, and it sucked, and I was so pissed at their management and stuff.
So if you're looking back on all that, as all you guys, it's like there's certain things you just do not do. I mean, because there's all these 360 deals. There's a lot of bands that get signed right in. Do you guys have a 360 deal?
Read your contract. Don't just be like, oh my God, I'm getting signed.
Yeah.
Sign on the dotted line. Read the contract. Read the fucking small print. It might be as small as even Willy Wonka. Just read that whole thing, dude.
Fucking lawyers.
People don't want to sign your band because you look like a cool guy and they want to be your friend. They want to sign your band because they see a dollar sign on you. Like, and that's the reality of it. Yeah. I mean, there's good people out there. Like I hear horror stories, just like things like Craig was just saying about a lot of other bands and a lot of other labels. And I'm like, I go to bed at night and literally go, thank God for my label and my manager, man. We got fucking lucky.
Yeah, dude. And I still love their management, like on a personal level, but on a business level, like, no thank you whatsoever. Never again. And the funny story is that I think only is like us as a band knows is the day that This War Is Ours album got finished. I got a phone call. You remember that?
I remember.
Yeah, I got a phone call. Hey, the band wants you back. Congrats.
Yeah.
I'm like, congrats? Dude, I've been begging to be back in my band for 8 months. You're going to say congrats at the day I finished a new record? Come on, man. Bad timing. So that sucked, too, because then I was being torn. I was like, oh, my boys, my OG boys, and I just finished this record. What do I do? And it's just like, I'm here for a reason. Got to stick with it. Bad timing. And then...
Was there any sort of like was there any sort of like a business aspect to that though that helped you make that decision? Like, was there a better deal with Escape the Fate than there was for the Bless the Fall deal? Or
I mean, not really.
Or was it just too much bad blood by that point with Bless the Fall? Or
it was just bad blood, not with Bless the Fall, just with
but the organization.
Works, you know? It's like you haven't been answering my phone calls for the past literally 8 months. Mm-hmm. Nobody's called me back. Nobody's gotten to me. You haven't found a new singer yet. You know I just finished a new album, and now you want me to come back. I was like, no thanks. Because it's like, how can you work with people that you think are going to have your back, but just ignored your phone calls for 8 months? And then you're just going to hop back in that relationship. It's like a girlfriend you were with that said she loved you, but she was fucking some dude on the side. And then she calls you 6 months later, and she's like, oh, I'm done with him. Come back to me, please.
Because you seem
to be doing super well for yourself. Come back.
I hate talking about this shit, man.
Really?
It sucks, yeah.
It just bums you out talking about the business end of it.
No,
it just bums me out.
About our
dude.
past, man.
Yeah.
We're on such a good fucking point right now, man. All this shit that you just regurgitate, you know, it's just like, fuck, dude. It's
I'm
like
trying to bum you out. I'm just
But
trying to
on
learn
the
the
other end of
lessons.
things,
It's just hard, though.
Definitely, I understand.
On the other end of things, everything does happen for a reason. I'm glad everything happened the way it did because, you know, like I said, Bless the Fall were really good friends again, and you know, they found Bo like a week after that happened. He just all of a sudden landed in their laps, and I think he's doing a great job. I really enjoy their songs. I even listen to it sometimes, the new ones they have up, and I just think everything happens for a reason. Like, that was supposed to happen. This was supposed to happen. Mm-hmm.
So just to kind of, I mean, Robert, so you can kind of maybe pick up the mood here a little bit for you guys. There was a great end of a review off the new record that was an Outburn at the last few. I had good people over at Outburn
Great people
over at Outburn.
Great people at Outburn.
Yes. And
Did I mention they were great?
You got an 8 out of 10 on the record review, so that's not bad. It's really, really good. And they end it with, it's a treat to see and hear such a damaged band emerge from the smoke and chaos with their eyeliner still smudged and their music as passion-fueled as ever. Welcome back to the land of the living, guys.
Nice.
I just gave me a little
That's
bit.
really good,
I gave you a little bit of chill right
I got
there.
some goosebumps, yo. Golden
helped?
goosebumps,
That helped?
dude.
That does help.
I like that.
That's awesome.
I've
though.
come to the conclusion that I can't read a review on an album on a website where there's like not one album that has a good review. You know what I mean? There's so many websites like that where every single album has a bad
Yeah.
review.
Yeah, see, I used to read reviews, be like, "Oh man, that sucks." Or else I'm like, you know what? This fool's just hating on everyone right now. Like, never mind. You know, why am I bummed?
So, you know, it's been talked about a little bit. 2 more questions, we're done. But it's been talked about in some of the interviews that you guys have done about the new version of it or the new future for Escape the Fate and where you guys are going. And some of the record reviews have pointed out with the new record that it's a lot more hopeful. It's a lot more, it's not so like before. And I think that there was one interview, I think it was an AP, where you were kind of like shocked, like, wow, I'm not used to the new music, like the new lyrics and the kind of the tone of the songs were going. And so is there a new tone to the band, do you think? Is there a new vibe? Is there anything that's like changed for you guys where you really are? I mean, it's like it's the past, it's in the past, it's behind you. All that stuff is still there, regardless of what Ronnie wants to say or think is going to happen. Because I think in one interview he said, I'm coming back and I'm taking back the band and blah, blah, blah. But for you guys, like, what do you see as your future now?
I see. Just we're very ambitious now.
Yeah.
A lot of great ideas, and just it's gonna keep going up, man. And the songs are just like the chemistry is so much. Just it's there now, you know. Like I mean, it was always there. That's how we put this record together, but now it's actually gonna come like to light, you know. Like we have time now.
Way better.
Yeah.
I can wake up and see these guys in the morning and not have to worry about if they're mad at me for something I did, or if we're gonna get in an argument if I pass them, or it just feels really good to feel comfortable and have no tension and be able to sleep and know when you wake up, the band's still gonna be happy and you're still gonna play that show the next day, and it's just, you know, you're still gonna be on the road. And I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. It's good to feel.
I was just gonna say
secure. I don't know what's the word I'm looking for.
Before you're in the band, it was like
a
lot of walking on eggshells all the time, and now it's just like we're like comfortable and like happy. Like I'm happy to be around you guys.
Content. I think is the word I'm looking for. We're all very content now.
Yeah.
You know what? I think
It'll be really interesting to see how the next record is going to sound or how it's going to.
here's what I noticed more than anything lately is that I've fallen in love with music again.
Really?
Like, because with all the stuff that I have gone through and everything, I just didn't want anything to do with playing in a band or listening to music or anything. And I'm so excited now that I get to just like, we've sat up late nights just playing guitar and, you know, playing old 90s pop songs or writing new stuff. You know, I've busted out a keyboard and just, you know, jamming and stuff like that. Our sound checks we're playing, and we're a lot more open to each other's opinions now. As before, we're, you know, because at the time, you know, we just met Craig. I was afraid to see what he would think about certain songs, or you know, I'm sure he was a little bit, you know, you probably held back just a little, like, where do they want me to go with this? And now it's like we're not afraid. You know, if he doesn't like something, it's like, dude, that's not cool.
I think now, like I'm so grateful I got hooked up with these guys, and I'm sure they feel the same way about me. And it's just like, at the point we are now, we get along with each other so well, and we're so in tune with each other now that it's like we don't even see anything else. We don't get jealous of other bands. You know, we don't care if other bands are jealous of us. Like we just tone it out. It's kind of like when people have selective hearing and somebody's talking shit to them right to their ear, but your body doesn't hear it at all because you just don't want to hear it. It's like we're just, I don't know, it's just everything's gone and we're so happy, and just, you know, we're a band. You know what I mean? We're a family. Everybody says a band's a family, and, you know, we're a family, and it feels really good to finally sit down around some people and have no doubt in your mind and just 100% feel like that's where you belong.
And I mean, as we tour and we spend so much time together, it's not always cheerful and blissful. We're not
Right.
like, I love you, man, at all times. And
life. Yeah.
we fight, we fucking everything. But at the end of the day, you know, you could be so pissed off and go, why am I fucking here? And then you realize, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
You know, let me go talk this out with this guy, and
I
let's
feel like-
fucking
I
work
feel like I
out what
have
we did.
brothers, you know?
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, so that, like I said, like then you can get back to the real focus at hand, which is, you know, creating music, which is why at the end of the day why we're fucking here, and you know, that and party and chase girls and stuff. You know, that's
We don't want no
the
BS, no
real
drama,
reason,
you know?
dude. You know.
So I usually end with somewhere within the end of the podcast story about this this question. So this is the last question for you guys. Tell me the story or the stories that you almost died while touring,
Almost died while
What do you
touring.
mean?
or even on stage. Oh, you know, bus almost went off the road. Equipment
There was that one
malfunctioned. Almost
time
got
the trailer
electrocuted on the
unhooked.
stage.
Oh, dude.
We were
It's
driving down the
like-
road in the trailer unhooked and
like,
just started rolling
Hey,
down the
why is our
freeway.
trailer fucking passing us on the freeway right now? What the fuck's going on, dude?
That was pretty
Fucking
gnarly.
flat
The
tire.
RV died on the last day. We weren't there, luckily.
Oh, I was on a plane. I was fucking chilling. Actually, I was enjoying Thanksgiving or something.
Remember when we were when we were doing it in a van? I remember I was asleep, but I remember hearing the story of like us sliding off the road into this ditch.
Yeah, I was in fear for my life, and you were snoring.
Yeah, I woke up because I had to piss, and I thought everyone was joking, and I opened the door to the back and got out, and was like into snow up to my waist. I was like, oh my god, jumped back in, and like the van was like slanted. I was like, holy shit. what's going
Well,
on?
you know, just about every night, I fear for Craig's life or his limbs at least when we play shows. Depending on the size of the venue, like in Toronto, what was it? The last show we just played, I was like, "Oh fuck, here we go." It's like you look up, you're like, "Yeah, dude, it's good. Fucking your solo sounds great, Brian." Whoa, where's Craig, man?
Well, I mean,
Oh,
the thing I feel about that is
fuck.
I trust people because as much of a family as the band is, our fans are just as much a part of that family as we are.
So you trust them?
And that's what I don't know. That's what I want to do. Like, they come for that hour every night where we can all be together and just hang out and everyone's positive and having a good time. You know, there's probably kids out there that snuck out. They're probably all worried that their parents are going to catch them. But when they're in the midst of the show, dude, they're not thinking about anything else. They're just having a good time with friends, with family. That's what it is. That's what Escape the Fate and the fans are, big family.
And since you're the father of a daughter, one little bit of advice: if you ever want to know where your kid was last night, you think they went to a show, just go on YouTube the next night and check all the video that was taken.
Speaking of daughters, man,
YouTube's a bad thing.
there's been a lot of daughters that have like dads that come to the shows that I never would expect. Like in New York,
Dude, D.
we walk
Snyder.
up on our bus and D. Snyder's standing there. He's like,
With
"Oh,
his
Escape the
kids.
Fate, big fan, big fan." We're like, D. Snyder,
Yeah.
dude?
Bro, I'm like, dude, you're my idol. He's like shaking. Oh my God, can I get a picture with you?
Hey,
Like-
man,
like what?
dude?
Like-
Generation
I
is
was like, "Are we in
past.
VH? Are we on VH1?
The torch is
behind
passed.
the music right now?" Like,